Are we on? Okay.
I think so.
I think we're live. And I think you are going to start us off after everybody gets going, I think.
And did you push the Q&A?
Yes, so I can see it on the side here. So I've got that up on my side.
All right, perfect.
I don't think it looks like anybody's logged on yet.
Yeah.
I guess we got time to go. Now, how did you start your career? How long have you been going to Tails?
I went to Tails the first year in 2009.
Wow.
Paid for it on my own and went to just see what it was about because I was a bartender and very interested in, just what it was. And I went and fell in love with it. I went to about 10 different seminars.
Wow.
Every day, pretty much like all day long, going to seminars and then events at night. And I just loved it. I thought it was amazing. And I learned so much in those couple of days. And I watched these little minions running around working in the sidelines and heard about them and heard that they were apprentices. And so the next year I applied and I was accepted.
That's awesome. I would just imagine that it's probably some of like the most valuable learning experience.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Networking too.
It's incredible.
Tell some of our bars guild here about it, pushing them to try to do something like that. Because I know that, how much you take the full, when did all the apprentices get there?
Monday.
Okay.
So, 2 days or 3 days before anybody else arrives.
Okay. So y'all are there for the full week.
We are there from Monday to Monday.
Monday, yeah.
Yes.
So if you can get, I'm thinking about, I don't know if we can do it this year, but I'd like to try sponsor a bartender locally to be able to do it. Because I get it that for some people that's a good chunk of time and money to make that commitment for them. Is what I think some people here that I've talked to have struggled with. But
right.
I think
it's invaluable to a bartender to be able to go and attend seminars and then of course if they apply as an apprentice and make it, that's even more invaluable.
Yeah, for sure. Well, do you want to get started, I guess, or I see a couple people are here. So Chris, I don't know if you want to.
I'm waiting for a question here. It looks like somebody's doing something.
He's playing his phone. I was like, I guess we'll go ahead and introduce ourselves.
Go ahead.
All right, I'm Anna. I live in Oklahoma City, and I stumbled upon Tails, I guess, in 2011. Definitely very, very amateur bartender. Kind of had no idea what the experience was about. Then fell in love with it after that first year. Started coming back the next years after, and based on the information we got there, it helped inspire my husband and I to start some businesses. And we definitely just now every year kind of go and really appreciate everything that it can do for us as far as furthering us in our career. Don't have quite the experience that you do, Chris, so I'm excited to listen to your experience there.
Well, I'm very blessed that I've been a part of this now for 5 years and now one of the people running the apprentice program. It's changed my life for sure. I went to Tails that first year in 2009, and I had heard about the apprentices, and I just wanted to see what the event was all about, and fell in love with it. And so when I went back to work, I just knew that I wanted to apply for the program. I applied in 2010, and I made it, and it was amazing. It was full of bartenders from around the world who were in the same boat as me and wanted to be there to learn. So we became a family very quickly. worked very hard. It was an amazing experience. And so I came back home and knew I wanted to do it again, and applied in 2011, 12, 13, 14, and now have gotten up to the top. I encourage anybody who's a bartender around the world who wants to learn to be a part of it. It's awesome.
I was going to say, I think it's also really cool, too, kind of what Anne had said about not being intimidated. Obviously, I live in a small market, and Cris, you do, too, but kind of what you said, I think that seems to be, for your experience, probably there's no other time that you, I'm sure, work with people from all over the world in that apprentice program.
Right.
So I would imagine, too, that probably just the networking, I know not being an apprentice myself, but just the people I meet at Tails, I've been able to, like, connect with through social media, and I'm coming up with drinks and stuff, and just
right.
send in emails or call them and ask. So I would think that even that part's really invaluable for the bartender.
Right. The thing about being an apprentice is that everybody is in the same situation. Everybody has created a cocktail or been in a competition. Some have won big ones, some have not, but all that gets left aside when you become an apprentice, and you're all there for the same common goal. And so there's nothing intimidating about it at all. It's such a great experience because you go from knowing nobody, or maybe even just one or two people at the first day, to being a part of this family 3 days into it, and that continues all year long and for the rest of your life. Once you're a cap, you are in this cool, tight-knit little unit forever.
That's awesome. And I think I'll speak to, not only from the cap, so if I have some people that are in my market, like you said, that it doesn't matter, like, the level, that just have the kind of, I guess, inspiration or the drive to want to be a part of it, to encourage them, because I'm not sure with the application process, but is it something that you have to have? Do they ask for a certain amount of, I guess, experience, or how is the application process done?
There are some, questions about experience and dedication, but anybody can get in. You don't have to be somebody who has participated in national competitions or anything like that. We're looking for people who are in that first level of really wanting to learn and get better. So we bring people in from all over and from all walks of life and all different markets. And we actually really look at that and try to spread that amongst all the markets, so that it's not just the big major cities, but places like where you're at, or Columbus, or wherever.
Cool. I'll answer Christine's. I'd say definitely as a first-timer to Tails, I made the mistake the first time of not, printing out the guide and really understanding what all that Tails had to offer. If you're first, whether you're a business owner or a bartender or just a cocktail enthusiast, bringing lots of business cards or ways to connect, because I think it's such an awesome kind of networking, and even from not the cap side, just as an attendee, I think that there's people that you meet there that you all share the same passion, and so you make great connections, and just make sure that you really make the most of your days. I know that I think the first time we went, there's a lot of drinking that's going on all day and all night, but if you can kind of make sure that you do pace yourself so that you can take advantage of all the tasting rooms and the seminars,
right,
and enjoy the night. Because I think that we had some friends that were with us the first time, but it's hard to keep yourself going that whole week, so you don't want to miss out on any moment.
Right. Yeah, that first year that I went, I just attended, and I paid for all the seminars so I could go to everything, and I went to as many as I could, and just learned so much. Techniques, spirits, tasting rooms. The possibilities are endless for bar owners, bartenders, people who are in the spirit industry.
Yeah.
It hits everybody.
I know too. I think that I've now learned if you can tag team going with at least one or two other people, because so many of the seminars, at least for me, are really hard to choose which ones I want to go to, because I want to go to so many, and some of them are at the same time. So this year, I know I've enlisted several people saying, okay, like you need to go to this one, and I'm going to go to this one, so that we can all kind of exchange notes and really get the most out of that week. So that was a fun thing for me. And I don't know. I also just suggest that, kind of like what you said. Like I think for me, I was intimidated reaching out to people the first year, so I didn't really ask many questions because I felt like I didn't know enough. So I think the answer questions was one thing we learned. And the first year, like I said, I didn't ask much. I just kind of went and enjoyed. In the second year, we had not bought our business yet. We were kind of in the thought of knowing that this is something that we were wanting to get into the industry and move into the business side. So I came loaded with questions and ready to network. Even I think that was kind of intimidating for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I was really able to get in and use. I think they have there's so much knowledge there and so many different vendors and different bartenders from around the world that in a small market where at that time, now we have a great bartenders guild here that I can reach out to for questions. At the time we didn't. So I was able to bring back contacts that when we did start our business, I was able to shoot them emails and say, hey, I'm trying to build this cocktail list. Like, what do you think about this? Oklahoma's weird. We have some strange liquor laws that are hard to, a lot of some of the spirits you can't get here.
Same here.
Okay, and so that was something we struggled with. And so at Tales, we were able to meet some of the different reps that you're able to form a relationship with.
Right.
And be able to start kind of proactively talking to them, to talk to the distributors, to work on getting some of these products available to our area. And we've had some success here with that, and that really helped us in our business, being able to kind of be at the forefront of saying, hey, this is a new spirit to our area at least. Come try it first at our restaurant. So now these years, the seminars they have on the, they always have seminars on like costs of drinks and building bars and there's no other place that you can have a chance to speak to like the top of the industry. Who own just legendary bars and restaurants. So it's really invaluable that, it's crazy that you're able to hear these people talk.
Right. And for bartenders who work in these smaller markets, it's a great way to learn about USBG and help form that chapter, which is what I did. We had no USBG when I first went to Tales in 2009, and I realized what a big organization was, that was, and helped form a chapter, which I have now been president for 3 years. And so, there's so many factors with the networking and all the people that you meet. Plus, New Orleans is amazing.
Yes.
As a city.
Yeah, it is. Hands down, I think just the trip I look forward to most out of any year. There's just so much inspiration that you can get from everybody, from the apprentices to the bartenders that they're featuring to the speakers. So, like you said again, Chris, I think whether you're a beginner bartender, whether you're well-seasoned, whether you're a business owner or you're just a cocktail enthusiast, there's so much you can bring back in knowledge and connections that it can help move anybody forward. And I look for it every year to help kind of get new ideas and keep our business fresh. So I think I may also ask a question that I can't type there for you, Chris. We're trying to get our bartender guild started here. We're working on getting up to 50 members, which has been a struggle. And so I know that Tales is probably a great time to network and speak to people who have been well seasoned in running bar guilds in their cities. If you have any kind of tips and things that people can try to do while they're at Tales to move that forward in their city.
Well, bartenders want to learn. So if you have a network of bartenders in your city, going to Tales can, like you said, it can help you to meet these spirit companies, people who are representatives or brand ambassadors, and you can get them to come to your city and do these seminars. And that's what will get you the members in your USBG chapter, because that's what they want. They don't want to just go to happy hours. They want to learn from the professionals, and those people in those spirit companies want to come around to all the states. They want to talk about their brand. So if you meet them, then you can get them to come to your city, and that will get people to join your chapter. And then, once you have enough members, you can start your own chapter, and then you're part of a national guild, which is amazing.
Very cool.
Yeah. So the CAT program, this is perfect timing because the deadline is April 1st for new apprentices. So that's something that I think, we as the people who decide who is going to be an apprentice, we want that playing field to be big. We want to get as many applications as possible. So anybody who's watching, this is the time. You've got a week left to apply. And I really encourage anybody from anywhere to do it.
How many apprentices do y'all have?
60-ish.
60, okay.
Yeah. Which has grown over the years from when I first started doing it. That has continued to grow because Tails grows. And so every year, there are more seminars, there are more nighttime events. We need more people to run it from the backside. And what the apprentices do is, it's like it's an amazing feat. I think every year we do it, and then we all sit back and go, oh my God, how did we pull that off? Because it's incredible what we do as strangers in 5 days.
Oh, I can't imagine the amount of cocktails that are batched there. So
it's crazy.
Impressive. Yeah. And then tickets to Tails. If you belong to 365, I know that we were able to start buying them on Monday. Now, I think they come next week or April 1st to the general public. But I definitely just encourage anybody, even if you're, I guess, kind of on the line, like on the fence about coming. You can buy a ticket to one seminar for, $50. New Orleans is well worth a trip for that. You'll want to buy more than that, but I think that it's hard not to feel. For me, when I read all the seminars, I know the first time several years ago, I felt really intimidated because I feel like I didn't have the knowledge to deserve to even be listening to some of those people speak. But once you went, I was pleasantly surprised too that I never felt like anybody looked down upon me because I had never made a barrel-aged cocktail before. Just the way that people are, and the willingness of everybody there just to share their knowledge to move everybody forward in whether their business or their career is really awesome. So
I see a question here. If I'm a bartender from a small market, how can I compete against New York bartenders and people from big markets? The bigger markets have a lot more opportunities than we do, but there's so much talent. Some of the most talented bartenders I've met are from the smaller markets. So, like I said, the CAT program, it's like we all leave all of our, who we are, what we've done at the door. We walk in there. I was scared of that too, my first year. And some of the people who were apprentices were already, somewhat famous bartenders, and but there's no egos, which is amazing. And so you don't have that fear of like, I'm better than you because I live in New York or I live in Chicago and I work in this great bar. I mean, everybody leaves that aside. You all work equally as hard all week, and sometimes you'd be surprised that those unknown bartenders are just as smart and talented, and you get to learn from everybody. And I feel like I learn from everybody, no matter what, no matter where they're from. I learned something, whether it's a technique that they use or produce that people in different countries have that we don't have here. It's just always equal playing grounds.
I see Adam's question about everybody wanting to purchase their tickets sooner than later. I'm not totally sure of that answer. That if somebody does end up getting accepted, you may know it, Chris, to the CAT program, what do they do if they've already purchased their tickets, since the tickets are non-refundable to the seminars?
I'm not sure either, honestly. If you are going to apply, I would wait and not buy any tickets.
I would say I'll volunteer some, because I know that I've been thinking I would hate for somebody to be afraid to apply to do that.
Right.
Adam, if you want afterwards, I guess I think that we're all on the same Google Hangout or through the Tails page, maybe message me. And if somebody bought tickets to a seminar, I've got some bartenders here that I was going to buy some tickets to different seminars for, so maybe I could hold off on that. And I don't know if they would let me like I could buy those from you maybe, and this is probably, if you're listening, more a question for you to answer. And
I
give
believe
them to somebody else. It would be a good way I could sponsor somebody like that if that happens.
Yeah, there's a refund. If you're a cap and you have purchased tickets, they get refunded. So if you get accepted as an apprentice and you've already purchased tickets, that will get refunded.
And then I think I saw one more question from Chris about how did the caps make it through the week of Tails?
They drink a lot of water. On day one, we explained to everybody that, you work really hard, but you play hard too, and you just have to be responsible in that respect and know that you have to show up on time. It's not an option. You can go out and party all night if you want to, and that's great, and we encourage that. We want you to go out and have fun and see everything and be a part of all the events. But, you also have a job to do, and it's a really serious job, and it's a really well-respected job. I feel like it's very rare that we ever have had an issue with that, actually. So we're very lucky as caps. We get taken very good care of. We eat and we drink water, and we make sure that we have everything we need. So just have fun and be really responsible, I guess, is the best way. And drink a lot of water.
You may have to follow it with some caffeine.
New Orleans is no joke in July.
You can make it.
So it's very, very hot in New Orleans in July. So even if you're not drinking, you have to hydrate.
And that's, I think that another thing, talking about the eating there, that I've loved. I feel like every year it's gotten better and better. Whenever I go to New Orleans, and being a restaurateur as well, like the food as well as the cocktails is a part that I'm really interested in. And I feel like it's awesome because every year Tails is like, I know the other year, all the top restaurants are getting involved, whether it's through the series dinners or at a lot of the different tasting rooms or seminars. You have some of the best restaurants offering small bites. I'm sure that y'all have some of them help with meals too through the caps. But I know as an attendee, you really get a chance to just see everything the city has to offer. So it's so much more even than just hearing about cocktails.
Right.
It's a cool experience there.
There's a question here about differentiating yourself from other, from the hundreds of other bartenders. I think one of the main things we look for in those applications is the passion, because that's what we want. We're looking for the most passionate people, the people that we believe will put their heart and soul into that week. We ask a lot of the apprentices, but the payoff is worth all of it. I've had a lot of people over the years say, my gosh, why would you go back and do that to yourself every year? But once you do it, there's no question that you go back. And I don't know what the percentage is of former caps who reapply, but it's high for sure. It's something that people really want. So I think the only way to differentiate yourself is to speak honestly and let your passion show through, so that we can see that you really do love what you do and you really are coming to learn.
That's a good idea. And I'd say, and if anybody else out there is, I don't know if anybody watching is more on the business side rather than actual bartenders, which honestly I think in this business you've got to be both to really run a successful restaurant or bar. but kind of, I know that this year some of the seminars, whether it's through team building for your teams, which I think even if you're a head bartender, that could probably be a helpful seminar. I just think, once again, just the lessons that are at your fingertips here are just so invaluable. And just get ready, especially I would imagine if you join as an apprentice, the amount of inspiration that you get from that week. I'm sure, like you said, Cris, will probably just last you. I mean, it will go ahead and set you way above the rest of the bar in your city. So.
Absolutely. It's incredible because you get to work side by side with the people who write the books. These, the people who we, look up to, and you're standing in the kitchen working with them side by side, and they respect the apprentices, which is very cool. I remember the first time I was standing next to Dale DeGroff, and I was like, oh my God, this is Dale DeGroff, and he's thinking like, oh my God, these are all the caps. He thought as highly of us as we all thought of him, and now I can call those people my friends, so it's awesome.
I think that was funny. I know that not last year when I wasn't able to go, but the year before, my husband was laughing because some of the, like I think Duchenne, like Jason Collins, some of the people that were there that, as a business owner, I've always read about, some of the businesses and the companies that they've started, so they're kind of weirdly celebrity-like to me, and getting excited about, like you said, like Dale DeGroff and these people that you read their books and you read their commentaries. I don't know, I found it hard not to get kind of starstruck.
Yes.
But it was neat how everybody was there to, like, they wanted to pour information to you. So I just thought that was really cool about this whole festival.
Very cool. Yeah, anybody who's in the industry should attend, whether they're attending or whether they want to be, whether they want to work. I think everybody in our industry should come to Tales at least once. But I have a feeling that once you go one time, you're hooked.
I think I always just wonder how cities keep their bars running during this week.
I always do too. I always feel like all the bars in the country are probably shut down because all the bartenders are gone. There are like managers and hostesses running the bar.
Yes, at least any of the bars that you'd want to go to. I think everybody seems to be at Tales, so I always kind of scratch my head as to, like, how do these businesses keep running in these big cities during this week?
Right. That's funny.
Yeah. Anybody have any other questions, or?
So when do you go? How long are you there when you go to Tales?
We would like to longer. I've not been able to go over for the full week. Last couple years, each year we've kind of just opened a new business. So it's hard for us to get away for a full week. So we usually get there Wednesday night and then leave Sunday.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, this year I'm sad because I'd really like to go. There's some of the keynote speakers at 6:30 on Wednesday, and we've got a 7-month-old at home, and so we're going to have to leave him with the grandparents, but it's hard to make them do that for once again a full week. To go to some of the stuff on Tuesday, but you're still able, like I said, I think the majority of the seminars, are kind of starting Thursday morning through Saturday, but I definitely miss out not being able to get there Wednesday morning. So that's one of our goals in the next year, to be able to actually plan for like a Tuesday through Sunday. Yeah.
So I just saw this thing on the side here. It was a statement more than a question about one year that Dram in New York City stopped making cocktails for that whole week and just poured beers and shots.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Because everybody that worked in their bar was there in New Orleans.
Well, because I mean, especially in some of the big cities, I feel like most of the top bars, everybody makes the time to go to Tales. So now, I was going to ask, this is something that I'm trying to kind of help in our city bring back ideas, and I know that I've sponsored a couple bartenders to join Tales 365, and I've sponsored a couple USBG memberships, trying to build that up. Cris, has any of the business owners in your city, or do y'all know, do any of them try to kind of sponsor, like pay for their bartenders to go to Tails, or most bartenders, do they actually take the time?
Definitely. Definitely. I know a number of them actually, especially this last couple years. Tails has gotten bigger and more people know about it now. And I think that the business owners are seeing the value of that and what they, by sending their bartenders, what they can bring back. In my USBG chapter, the last 3 years, in like August, we have all the bartenders who have gone to Tails do a seminar, talk about everything we learned to the rest of the group. We bring back cocktail ideas and make those cocktails, and that has just made it grow too, because now everybody wants to go. So the first year I applied as a cap, I was the only person in Ohio to apply as a cap, and now we've got one who's hoping to return. We've got at least 8 or 10 in my city alone who are planning to apply this year to be first-time caps. So it just continues to grow. People just know what it is now.
I know that's what John was asking. I think that if your employer can't be convinced that you taking that week off to be a cap there, then I would wonder about your employer.
Right.
As an owner and manager, if any of my bartenders got accepted, if it meant me bringing in a guest bartender to take their place for a week, or heck, if it meant one of my husband and I staying behind and not going to Tails so that they could get that experience and working behind the bar that week. To me, that would just be, I think your employer would understand what an invaluable experience, but maybe I would send them to the website and send them to
Me too.
show them Cris talking about it now.
Well, if you look at all the people who are prior apprentices, they've all gone on to do something in their cities or nationally. It gives you the opportunity to meet the right people. It is why I have become a brand ambassador for a couple of different brands over the last 4 or 5 years. It encouraged me to do Bar Smarts Live and then Bar Smarts Wired and then Bar Smarts Live. And the apprentice program has a scholarship program, and I was awarded the scholarship 2 years ago to go and do beverage alcohol resource, which is something that not a lot of people have ever done, and those who pass are it's really highly respected. It was one of the hardest things I've done, and the CAP program paid for it for me, which was incredible. Thanks, Anne. I love you.
I think Christine wanted to know more about the bars, restaurants that we work at / own. My husband and I, we own a small pizza place. Both of our restaurants in Oklahoma City are in kind of the entertainment district, the Bricktown area. It's a little bit touristy. We're trying to bring some cool concepts there to slowly change that. We're right by like the basketball stadiums. That's a lot of our business. We have a sushi restaurant that is more nouveau kind of, like we play techno-ish music. Definitely not a traditional sushi restaurant. When we bought the place several years ago, I would say the majority we had, a lot of, the sushi part, but most of our cocktails were kind of flirtini type, in a cheap bottled juice. Vodka was about the extent of the cocktail menu when we bought the restaurant. We've been slowly trying to evolve it. Obviously, our clientele there is not really into some of the craft cocktails yet, but we've just implemented small things. We use fresh juice now for all of our cocktails. I've really tried to look out and kind of introduce some of our customers to spirits that aren't so popular in Oklahoma yet. A lot of the companies that we kind of met while at Tails We tried bringing that in. And then our other place is pizza place. We're open till 3 a.m. because we're next to all the bars. We serve beer and wine only there, although we're in the process of building out a space next to it to put on a full barcade added on to the pizza place where we're going to do craft beer, craft cocktails, and cult movies. So those are kind of our businesses. I know that, Chris, I've really enjoyed looking at all the stuff you post from your restaurant and the title, so I'm interested to hear more.
So there's a question about an average day in the life of an apprentice. Will I be able to go party every night and sleep in every morning? Yes and no. Yes, you get to go out and party every night if you want to, but like I said, you're back. You have a time that you have to be back in the morning, and you cannot be late for that time. You have 60 other people relying on you and expecting you to be there. And that's part of the deal. We get taken care of very well. Like I said, we get a lot of food and drink and swag. You leave with an extra suitcase full of stuff that you accumulate throughout the week. We get treated like kings and queens, but we also work for every bit of it. So yes, you get to go out and party as much as you want to. You don't get to sleep in. No sleeping in. But it's worth it. I don't, I think the first day people think, oh my God, this is going to be really hard. It is really hard. But everybody's there first thing in the morning. And we don't have to drag too many people out of bed. And like I said, people apply to come back every year and pray that they get accepted to come back.
I was going to take Adam's question. As a business owner, is it realistic to consider closing during tails? If I have just a bar only, which hopefully next year when we come back to tails, we will have one of our bar concepts open. I would actually try to budget for that. I think that most cities, if you could kind of even explain that, hey, from maybe not from Monday to Monday close, but if we close that weekend and like sent our bartenders there Thursday through Sunday, saying that we'll reopen next week with fresh cocktail ideas and new inspiration, that it would probably, as a business owner, to me, be enough kind of PR as well as to the pride we're taking in our business and how much we value what our employees learn to probably pay back twofold. I feel like one thing I have noticed being a restaurant, just because a lot of, for the server side, I would think about having somebody come fill in and just serve our menu drinks and not do a feature drink for the week, and so that my bartenders could go. I probably wouldn't close the actual full food service side, but I do think that I've noticed customers respond really well when they see that a business owner takes pride in and invest in their employees. I think that you usually get a really good return on that. So if I had a bar, I would highly think about doing that. I think that it would be, if you have to kind of think about how to word it, and obviously use it kind of as a PR tool too, to advertise like, hey, come back after this week for some great new cocktails. I think you could use it to your advantage as a business owner.
I think so too. Definitely. And yes, I will be getting the official cap tattoo this year, everybody. For those of you who don't know what that is, this is something that, I said it's a fraternity, it's a family, and once you're in it, you are in it for life. And there is an official tattoo that many, many people have gotten, and I am one of the few who don't have it. And now that I'm a white coat, I don't think I have a choice. I think I have to get it. So, yes. Yes, Dawn. I'll be getting it. Maybe even before I go. I might get it here.
You can show off the fresh ink while you're there.
Exactly.
Anything else? Unless somebody else has any more
So
questions.
I see one here. I hear that if you attend Tails, there's a 1% chance you'll end up moving to New Orleans. I would love to move to New Orleans, except I have a daughter who is in school here and I can't move her away. But you never know what could happen after she's out of school. I mean, I know a lot of people have done it, and you know, I think it's an incredible city. I mean, I would love to just go for a month. You know, I always go to Tails and have to rush right back to my daughter and my life and my job, but I would like to go and spend like the whole month of July and see it.
So, yeah, I don't think that. I feel like every time I go to New Orleans, I'm left saying maybe I would have to take like a week break at a time so that I can like revive and get refreshed. But as far as there's way too many restaurants and bars, and I don't know, you're never able to scratch the surface. So I feel like I could go live there and I'd be very fat and happy if I lived there, I think.
I just saw another tattoo question. You know, the white coats are they're the leaders, and there are two new ones, me being one of the two. You know, I didn't think that they were ever going to let anybody else into that little white coat group, and I'm now one of them. And so yeah, I think the tattoo is mandatory. I think that the other new white coat needs to get one, and I'm pretty sure the rest of them have it, as far as I know. Yeah, I think it's mandatory. I think we should have it for sure. It will not be my first tattoo. No, I have a tattoo on my leg of my daughter's name. And that is the only tattoo that I have currently. But I do have one.
Well, that's a tough choice. Which of those places for your nightcap?
I gotta look back on there.
It was Aaron Rose, Alibi, or Absence House.
Man, for the nightcap, I think of a nightcap as the last drink to relax you before you go to bed. Not Alibi. that never ends up good, and it ends up an awfully late night. I think Absinthe House is perfect. It's right around the corner from the Monteleone, and you can have a little quiet drink and go home and get some sleep. Aaron Rose is the best, the best place to get the frozen Irish, but to me that's something that I like to enjoy during the day when it's really hot. It looks like somebody doesn't have a tattoo that's a white coat, so you know who you are. You need to get one. I'm pretty sure you're on here. So if I get it, you have to get it. That's the deal. I'm not going to say his name out loud.
All right.
Other cap questions from anybody? Who's the most dangerous brand ambassador to run into at 4 a.m. on my way back to the Monteleone? Simon Ford, Sean Kelly, Chris Patino, Jim Ryan, or Jacob Briers? Whew. I don't know. They're all dangerous. There's some. Any of those would end up keeping me out. And I usually don't go back to the Monteleone at 4 in the morning. I'm one of the more responsible ones. I like to be awake at 7 a.m. in the kitchen. Melissa Young asked if I would rather fight 10 batch bucket sized apprentices or one apprentice sized batch bucket of rock coconut. I mean, only the caps will understand that one. I want nothing to do with a batch bucket of rock coconut, so I would fight the 10 apprentices. And anybody who's watching who knows what that means, you know what I mean. So what keeps me involved with the CAP program? I mean, for me, it's like it's the vision of what Tails is, and wanting it to continue and wanting to watch it grow. And I've always been a teacher in my heart, so I love the mentoring of the new apprentices. I love seeing their little faces, and I love getting them involved. I can't imagine my life without it, frankly. I can't imagine. I couldn't ever go to Tails and not be a part of this program. So for me, I feel like it's just become part of my life. It's way more than I ever thought it would be. And for me, it's a big deal because I am a single mother, and I leave my girl for a week, and now it's more like 9-10 days. But to me, it's worth it, and she understands that. She I think learns a lot from that by watching me go to this every year, and how important it is to me to leave her and my job for it. So you guys are totally stuck with me at Tails. You can't get rid of me.
And I think on the opposite end of the spectrum, that what Tails version is like, what keeps you coming back. You know, I think every year that we've gone, you get to know. The first year, it's really hard to understand and like really take advantage of everything that they have there at your fingertips. I think it takes kind of getting, each year you learn how to navigate it a little better. And then each year I've met, you meet more and more people. So I look forward every year to kind of just reconnecting with the people that I meet that are from all over the U.S., all over the world. And then throughout the years, when you go visit places, it's cool being able to, go to a different state and go stop in somebody's bar that you met in New Orleans. I don't know, that to me, some of the connections are the biggest reason for coming back, as well as I think once you go the first year, it's just, you're going to be so amazed and blown away by all the knowledge and new things that you're exposed to that you just can't wait to go back the next year. So
we have an unofficial apprentice who is a Catholic priest. He's been with us the last 2 years, Father Bill, who we all love dearly. He claims to absolve us all of our sins every morning. I don't know. It depends on who's sinning. It is New Orleans. I'm sure that some sins are not absolvable, but we sure love him, and he's a great addition to the program. We've been really fortunate to have him for a couple of years now.
does the priest attend the tasting room in the event that absolves everybody from their sins? Does he come and observe any of the events to know what he's absolving everybody from?
Yeah, exactly. Why are Caps so obsessed with Sharpies? I would have to walk away to go get mine because it's right over there. But when you're an apprentice, you have to use a Sharpie to label everything all day long. You use it 100,000 times a day. It's become like an icon for us. I don't remember what year it was, maybe 2011, I think, maybe 12. We bought out every single store in all of the French Quarter of all their Sharpies. You couldn't find a Sharpie in the French Quarter anywhere you went. because we need them. And one pen, when you're writing with it all day long, it goes dry. So it became this thing, and then we got them actually printed on the Sharpie, TOTC cap, and now it's become this thing where we do Sharpie checks, and we will say randomly in the middle of the day who has their Sharpie, and everybody pulls a Sharpie up. It's just something that is always on you. It's expected to be on you, and we are obsessed with them. And so here we are, 6-7 months later after Tails, and on Facebook somebody randomly will say, Sharpie check, and now you've got people from all over the world sending and posting pictures of themselves with their Sharpie. That's kind of a cool thing.
So Sharpie should be an unofficial sponsor of Tails, or an official sponsor. Maybe Ann should hit them up.
Sure. Yes, the Sharpie company should get in on this somehow if they haven't already. Anna, where do you stay when you come to Tails?
This year we're staying at the Monteleone.
Awesome.
The first 2 years we stayed at the Ritz at the street. We just tried to get as close as we could to the Monteleone, because by the time we had booked our hotel, they were already booked. So we're excited now to actually be staying in the middle of everything this year. So rooms
That'll
are
be
booked.
perfect.
Yes. I know that I was reaching out to a couple people that we've met the last couple years at Tails, and everybody, I think it was, goodness, maybe several months ago that I made the hotel reservations, and they're like, man, you're starting early, but we didn't want to miss out this year, so.
No, for sure.
But that's interesting. I guess Ann said that several of the bars in NOLA closed last year for Tails.
Some of these I'm not answering. Nope. Not going to answer some of these. I think whoever asked the question knows the answers. Anybody else have questions? Well, if you are thinking about being an apprentice, you've got a couple more days. The deadline is the 1st, so get on that website and fill out that application. It'll be the best decision of your life. I am living proof. So I really encourage it for anybody who is interested in the craft.
And I think for those of you veterans, I would just reach out and encourage, maybe people who aren't even bartenders, there's servers want to. Got a dog. I think my dog's outside. So I would just, really get everybody involved, from non-bartenders to bartenders. I think the more we spread the word about the festival, the bigger it grows, and the more influence everybody can have in the cities that they're in.
Sorry, I'm back. Yeah, get your butts on there and apply. It's it can't hurt.
Well,
Well, shall we say our goodbyes?
wrap it all up.
Anna, I will see you in a couple months.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well. And, anybody who's on Facebook, you can always reach out to me if you have more questions. I'm always happy to answer anything.
And Cris, I may kind of post your name on our Bartenders Guild website, just telling some of them if they have any questions these next couple of days, if that's okay, that they can reach out.
Please do.
Okay.
Please do. Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks, Cris.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.